Yeah.
It'll pay for itself in the first year.
For the most part, it's gonna be ornamental.
How about you?
Because we left at it, we were gonna do it.
Okay over there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to take care of everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody did it. I had where you got.
Yes, it can.
My brother went up there. Yes.
It's not just doors, windows.
Is there anything wrong with moving that?
Did you put everything?
Mr. Malcolm, would
Not yet.
we move to go with that way? Because we can't see the director.
Do you want them to approach the podium, or do you care if the podium's there?
Help me out of this. It's just that we can't see everybody.
We can't see everybody.
You need to walk around and go over there.
Thank you.
I move the time.
Under the calendar.
Yeah, that's
Reasonable.
So they can stand there.
Yeah. It still fits.
Oh, they're kings.
Are you ready? Yes. That's going.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order for the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the NYWD District here at the district office in Brownsville. Roll call, please.
Director Nielsen?
Here.
President Ferguson?
Here.
Vice President Hansard?
Here.
Director Hawthorne?
Present.
Director Brown?
Here.
General Manager Moffitt?
Here.
To item B, pledge allegiance, Director Brown.
Please stand. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. Public participation, agendized items, opportunity for public comment on any agenda items will be provided only at the time they are addressed by the committee or board. Unagendized items, opportunity for the public to comment on any other items of interest within the jurisdiction of the board will be provided only during the public input item agendized below especially for this purpose. Time limitations, public comments will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker and 10 minutes for all speakers combined for the agenda item entitled consent items, and 3 minutes per speaker and 10 minutes for all speakers combined for each remaining agendized item alphabetically. Okay. Item C, consent items. Approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 2018. Approve the payroll of the month of April 2018 of $31,525.15. Approve the bills for the month of April 2018 of $422,279.92.
Make a motion to pass to accept consent items 1, 2, and 3.
Need a second?
Second.
Any comments? Public? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Director Nielsen?
Aye.
President Ferguson?
Aye.
Vice President Hansard?
Yes.
Director Hawthorne?
Yes.
Director Brown?
Yes. Sorry.
Item D. financial manager's report. That'd be Ms. Heidi.
As of April 30th, 2018, total cash in all accounts, including reserves, was $4,598,739.72. Total income to date, fiscal year, is $3,612,116.57. Total expenses were $1,323,571.80, leaving a net profit of $2,288,544.77. Also, you're having a board package receipt of the expenses that come out of reserves for the geotechnical pre-design for the Forbstown ditch, and also the surveys and Marysville Culvert Crossing. District has a new diesel tank that they had installed, and also we've already received some of the equipment and some of the vehicles, and so far the expenses out of reserves are $533,162.22. Some of those expenses were reimbursed to us for the geotechnical pre-design. So far, we received reimbursements of $124,248. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial management report.
A second.
Any more discussion? Comment? Roll call, please.
Director Nielsen?
Aye.
President Ferguson?
Yes.
Vice President Hansard?
Yes.
Director Hawthorne?
Approved.
Director Brown?
Yes.
Okay, item E, surveillance and security system. That'd be Mr. Watt.
Mr. President, Board of Directors, we've had quite a few break-ins into the property where they're vandalizing the vehicles, they're stealing gas, that kind of thing. We're not unique. I understand the school district's having the same problem as well. We looked into a solution to have security cameras put in here so we could identify the people that are doing these things. The cameras are supposed to be of a quality that when you can zoom in and actually see people's faces and not a real grainy output. The various prices there were for different levels of cameras, how many cameras the recording machine itself can take up. The one I'm looking at can take up to 8 cameras, but right now you're looking at about 4. Anyway, I put this on a action item because it is becoming quite a problem. Even the district's personnel with their personal vehicles, when they leave one of them here to be on call, have been vandalized as well. So we need to do something proactive, and we need to do something where we can catch them and prosecute them. So this is the first step, and I'd like your consideration on purchasing a surveillance system.
Okay, these cameras here will actually show like a license plate, a full face, there's no distortion.
And I am, the person who I'm dealing with is back east right now, but I want him to demonstrate them before we do anything, and I do want a more defined contract as well. Because the contract does include the full installation, wiring, everything, but it's not set on it. And so I'll have him go back and make sure that all of the installation is included in the language of the contract.
Was the basic difference in this the ability to expand?
It does have the ability to expand. You have to decide, how many ultimate cameras you want. Personally, I could see a couple more cameras, a few different locations. For an example is our warehouse in the back. There's roll-up bays that are in the alleyway. I'd like a camera back there. This proposal doesn't show that. So, other than a little bit of conversation with him still, I wanted to give you an idea of what the prices were that we were looking at and see if you had any heartburn over moving forward.
I'd like to see more info on the pricing. The cameras that they include here should be industrial. They're not the things you get at Home Depot or Best Buy. Those will look out 100 feet.
Right.
Industrial cameras, they'll see the wart on your nose 300 feet, 400 feet.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yes.
And they're expensive. So the price here, if this were like a Best Buy,
No.
it's way too expensive. But if it's the industrial, the only thing that I have a heartburn, if you want, is the price per terabyte on the disk drive. You can get terabyte drives, 8 terabyte drives at $20 a terabyte. As long as this isn't something, an add-on, a RAID construction, then you could probably do better on that one small piece. But I'd like to see the names and the prices of the individual pieces of equipment.
A more comprehensive proposal.
If-
than
what you said you were
That's
looking
what I'm
at.
looking for too, but I just wanted to see how you wanted me to proceed. Did you, if you would like to wait till next board meeting to see a new proposal and vote on that number, or do you want to authorize you to move forward to make a purchase with a certain cap on it?
I would prefer to see a new proposal.
No problem.
More
Yes.
detail.
You may know this question already. If the power goes down, is it still up, or do we
It's
use the
still up
cameras
because
also?
we have a generator that automatically transfers the load to. So when a power outage happens, our generator pops up and our electrical's still online. We're not without power.
For shorter term, it also calls for UPS on there. It's right here. That,
Okay, I guess,
and that'll run, well, again, it depends.
Okay, so items and labor spelled out, things that I'd be happier with, you're happier with.
yeah, let's table this till next month.
Excuse me, there's a question over here.
Yeah.
I will get to you in time. Thank you.
Okay, so for next board meeting, June,
Mhm.
okay.
And hopefully he will have more.
I will.
Can he be here?
You want to question him? I can, yeah, I can.
That would be better
I
if
can
he was
ask that
here.
as well.
That way we don't have to keep going back and forth.
Perfect.
I wonder if can he break out the bid for labor, material?
Yeah, that's what I was just writing down. We wanted to know what kind of parts we're buying. We want to know everything spelled out, and we want to know what their labor is. We want to know, I assume, and that's why I shouldn't have to assume it's prevailing wage or if it's not. I need to know all the details to make sure that he's compliant with the rules we have to follow.
He'd also be, if we need a remote power and whatnot out somewhere on the property, they'll do that as well, right? This is all includes installation of the whole system?
All wiring, everything.
Okay, okay.
But it's not spelled out. That's
Right,
the
I
problem, and
understand.
can't go on.
I just want to be sure if we want to put something out here where there's no power, we'd have to run power. And
That's a
that-
conversation we'll have with them, see what's inclusive and what's not.
Okay.
Okay, but my takeaway from this is you are definitely interested, and we're not spinning our wheels, you want to move forward.
Because we have too much out there now.
Yeah. So, thank you very much, that's.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
As a taxpayer and a constituent, I have a few questions about the security system. I'm wondering, number one, what other options the board may have explored for security for their facilities. Number two, I'm wondering how many break-ins there have been, exactly what the financial results are of these break-ins. And also, I'm wondering why you wouldn't look into using your own server to record onto. You could merely extend the memory and the RAM on your server rather than buying another expensive machine? Those are my questions.
Well, when we hear from the other guy, we will take that under advisement and find out from him also.
And whether their options have been explored?
I don't know because it was just brought to the board tonight.
Mhm.
Okay. But one break-in is too many. Because one break-in can take millions of dollars away from here. So one is too many. Anybody else? Hearing none? General manager's report. Item F.
You have your operations memorandum with regards to the New York House Bridge work has commenced. They've isolated the bridge. I didn't get a chance to drive out there today to see how far they've gotten along with it, but it is underway and we are tied off, so we have no problems while they do construction. Part of that is there's been some conversation from the county with regards to a fire access road, should there be any problem, should a fire happen. And they asked us if we were willing to accommodate them. I had gone ahead and I had spoken to you on the phone, that the answer is yes, and we've been moving forward on providing a secondary source of escape in a fire. The county is getting ready to move forward on it. The only thing I asked them was that, because they're going to be up on our 01 Canal Road, is that they also name us indemnified, and I'll make sure that the insurance policy covers us in their primary, that kind of thing. As we move forward and get down to the brass tacks, I'll bring those papers to you. But I didn't get any pushback from anybody here not wanting to support the public in a situation like that.
And that's only an emergency situation.
Correct.
And they're gonna do it, the county's gonna create
Correct.
the road, not us.
The road's there, they're going to improve it, they're gonna spend all the money they need to make it traversable to their standard. And they're talking about a bridge going over Dry Creek at our headworks. So it won't touch the stream bed, it just has to be on our property, and it'll be on, I believe it's Soper Wheeler's property, so they just needed to make a few phone calls to Soper Wheeler. Anyway, so they're using a flatbed train car, I think is what they're proposing to put over it, so that will be from Frenchtown Road will be the entry point, and then they can go all the way down to basically, we looked all the way to Walters Y. I just want to see, we're going to get more specific as we move forward, but being a good neighbor, working with the county, and providing the public a emergency road. I'm working on a Bureau of Reclamation grant for the lower ditch right now. I'm also working with the USDA for the same. GIS, we finally got the data set cleaned up. It should be delivered this Friday. And I'll be able to take advantage of the grant from Yuba County Water Agency for the median home income. As we spoke before, our customers need to pay 1.5% of their income towards the water bill. If they don't do that, we're precluded from acquiring grants at 100%. It'll be a lesser number. The way to get around that is to do this study, and if we find out that we're severely DAC, then those numbers no longer apply. We'll be eligible for 100% of the grant dollar. So, for example, Prop 1 money is $5 million, and if we're severely DAC, we would be eligible for the full $5 million. If we're not, and the 1.5% income doesn't apply, then we would probably get something 65% or less. So the object here is to try to. I had a conversation that said we could pull our customers that have skin in the game, our actual paying customers. If that all works out to be true, then we probably will find ourselves in a severely DAC situation. This will be beneficial for us moving forward on all of our grants. And with regards to the vehicle replacement policy, I provided you a first blush and wanted your comments on, did you want to move forward with a workshop? Did you like what you read? Where are you at on that?
I like the policy, and I contacted some contacts I've got with Yuba County Water Agency, and they're still trying to put theirs together. I ran down some of the numbers that you have, and they thought that was well within line. So I talked a little bit to Heidi about financing too, so I think maybe a workshop would be appropriate. I think this is a first step in getting those policies done.
Yeah, and this will open the door to schedule all of our meetings moving forward that you're interested in. But I didn't want to just go in dry as toast, so we put one together for you just as a, not as an end-all be-all, but as a conversation piece to get us moving forward. Do you have any dates that you would like to entertain?
For me, the earlier, the sooner the better.
Yes, I remember that you had some serious workload coming and you wanted to get done. Was that true? Did I say that right?
You did.
And that you were hoping to be done before July? Is that the date?
As early as possible.
So in June, I mean, we've got a kickoff here, so does any date in June work for you?
They all work for me.
Okay, I've got, works for you, you're good. How about you two gentlemen, you're the working people? I'm not that you're not a working people, but you're your own boss.
June is fine to me. July, from the 3rd to the 22nd is bad.
3rd to the what?
22nd.
Okay.
For me, June, the only day that's bad is the 18th.
All right.
Monday.
So how about this? How about you take one look at your calendars tomorrow? I email you, you send me back a list of dates. I'll find the one that's all compatible, and winter chicken dinner, we start?
That's fine.
Okay.
Any more questions? Jenny?
I'm going to give this to Mr. Mock, and this is a public record request regarding the manager's report from the Oregon House Dobbins Water Association, that we are requesting all draft, preliminary, and final engineering contractor documents for piping repairs on the Oregon House Dobbins irrigation canal with size and type and location of installation for 01, 02, and 03 ditches, and the same information for the Forbes-Town ditch. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Directors, what? That's, Directors may make brief announcements or reports for the purpose of providing information to the public or staff or to schedule a matter for further meetings. The board cannot take action on any matter not on the agenda or refrain from entering into discussion that would consent action, direction, or policy until a matter is based on the agenda for the public, publicized within the board meeting. Does anybody have anything?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I read an article in the newspaper here recently that made several assertions about the North Yuba Water District and our management. And one of them was that we had received $30 million from South Feather Water and Power Authority since 2011. And I couldn't remember a big check like that going in the bank, so I did a little research. Turns out the number is actually since 2011 to 17. It's actually about 10,200,000 in that vicinity. And so I wanted the board to know that claim is actually false. And I've got the numbers put together right here.
Good, thank you for the effort.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I able to comment on that?
No. Yeah, this is for directors, sorry. Also, this is just for the board because there's other things that people are putting out there. that about the irrigation water is used for fire suppression. It is not used for fire suppression. Been on the fire department for 20-some odd years. If it's there, we use it. If it's not, we don't use it because it's not a secure water source by any means. A great example was the Cascade Fire. Had all kinds of irrigation water. Couldn't get to it because the fire was moving too fast. So it's a balance of how it happens and where it happens. If the water is there, yes, we will use it. And if not, we find it some other places. Just like the 5 years of drought that we had before we got water again. We all found water to put fires out. And this is no different than any other drought year. But the irrigation water is not used for fire suppression, period. You can ask CAL FIRE, you can ask the forestry, you can ask Foothill, you can ask Camptonville, you can ask Dobbins Organ House, you can ask all of them. It's just a luxury if it's there. It is not for fire.
Our policy also points to that as well. It's been in place for.
Yeah, last meeting when I was explaining some of the history here, I read that particular section of our existing policy, which was put in place by the previous board. And it specifically says that it's not for fire prevention and should not be considered for it because it can't be guaranteed.
I think one of the things that you brought up, I think a couple meetings back, is that if people want to be proactive and purchase a tank and put it on their property, which is relatively inexpensive, your fire department will fill those tanks on a first-time basis so that there is something on site to be used in a fire situation. So I thought that was.
Yeah, if anybody puts in a tank, our district, Dobbins Organ House, we will fill that tank the first time for nothing. You know, we get, we'll suck it out of Collins, we'll suck it out of Dry Creek, the community center, all those, we will fill it. But if you lose it, then it's up to you. And we only charge $100 to come back and fill it. So that's our, I don't know what Foothill does or Captainville or any of those guys do. But that's what we do. So. Okay, any other directors got anything?
I did want to ask the manager if he has another policy that he'd like to start working on. Maybe we could decide on what that is and schedule it.
We could do a domestic policy. That's probably been the least one that's gotten any attention.
Yeah, I'd love to keep moving on it.
Line them up. So.
Can we set a date on that, or?
Yeah, if you guys want to.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Okay. This one here looks like it should be pretty short because it's pretty well laid out. If you could get us the domestic policy and shoot it to us.
I can do that.
And then that way, maybe we can go right from this one and start on that one at the same day.
Great.
That sounds great.
Okay.
But then let's line up irrigation somewhere at the front end more than the back end of the, just so it doesn't have to be.
That's like the new one. That's the one that's had the most attention.
Yeah.
But this first one's a new creation, and this second one is.
Yeah, no,
Probably
I agree
more
with those two.
Okay.
I just,
And then when we get done talking at the next workshop, we can schedule from that.
okay.
From that, we can schedule the next one.
How's the 6th of June look?
That's opening day, I think, at the museum.
Okay, so you're
You
out.
said you were free every day.
Not weekend. Okay, I'm also free in the middle of the night. Go
No,
ahead.
the 6th of June, if I'm seeing it right, is what?
Wednesday. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Bottom row.
Bottom line.
Yeah, 3rd of June is, okay, I'm confused now. I'm free. 6th of June is just fine. I'll be killed by a million.
I got three that say yeah.
You okay?
Good.
You yeah?
Sure.
Okay, June
You can
6th.
start without me.
Yeah.
I need big glasses. I can't see that far.
You want to pin the second one?
You want to try these?
No. Why?
How about the 20th for the second? That's a
Another Wednesday, yeah?
Everybody okay?
And these are
Yeah, I think so.
morning through, or
10 to 2 is what we historically have done, taking a break in the afternoon for lunch.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask the board this. From 10 to 2, can't we go from like 8 to 2?
8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah,
Works for me.
Get a little more.
yeah.
Fine.
That's not fair, Donnie, you're already up.
yeah.
All right, I'll prepare an agenda and be ready to roll. And then our board meeting is the 28th.
All right, item H. Public input, opportunity for the public to comment on any non-agendized items within the jurisdiction of the district board. However, no action may be taken by the board on topics or matters presented during the public input agenda item. The public must address the board on specific agendized items only during the board's consideration of the item. David Brenna?
What would be the maximum size tank that you could use for the water prevention, the fire prevention? You said you'd fill up a tank?
Yeah, the tanks that the county
They
by
provide the
code
tank?
is 3,000 gallons.
3,000 gallons?
Yes.
And that's how big the truck
That's the
is?
code, that's the code for Yuba County. But
Okay.
if you have,
You
like-
would fill
like
that
if
for
you
us.
have a 50,000 gallon tank, then I can't do that one because that's not.
But you give us 30,000 and we just, it wouldn't be full, it would be
3,000.
3,000, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
That's the size of your tanker, isn't it?
3,600 is the size of the
So you're
tank.
in that ballpark.
So you get 3,600 gallons instead of 3,000, because our tanker is 3,600.
Okay.
Yeah.
For fire.
Yeah,
For fire prevention only. So if we put that next to the house and had a pump, we'd be in pretty good shape to fight a fire,
Correct.
you think?
Yeah. Yes.
Being a firefighter.
To elaborate on that, also too, on you guys' tank, if anybody has one of those tanks, and I know this is public comment or input, but Dobbins Organ House, if the fire is coming towards your guys' home, we will not take the water from you. Because we're gonna leave that water for you to fight your home and for us to help you fight your home with that water. If the fire goes by and you do not use your water, then that's when we're gonna come back and take it from you.
Would you refill us?
And then after everything is shut down, the fire is gone, and we get back to normal, then we will come back and we will fill your tanks with the water that we took from you.
Very generous.
With vodka.
Water is better.
Let's stay with public comment.
Yeah, okay, that public comment.
Sorry to make this
Yeah.
one.
I have a tank, and the fire department recommended that I put the attachment on there for the fire trucks, which is something you can get, I got it at Ace Hardware. So that means when the fire truck pulls up, they can hook right into
Right
your
onto
water
it.
tank. Right,
Would that be the same hookup for a 2-inch Honda pump, do you think?
Todd would know.
No.
Good close.
Yes.
I know
Why
you're
why
not
don't you guys
supposed to
talk
talk about this.
after the meeting?
Let's bring
Yeah,
this
send me
later.
after it, and I can explain it to you real quick.
Because it's just
Okay.
public comment.
Yeah.
Important.
Okay, it's public comment, Carol McCall.
Yes, at the last meeting, 3 taxpayers requested an item be added to this week's agenda regarding the North Yuba Water District's refusal to provide irrigation water this season. Why wasn't this request addressed?
What was it?
To talk about why we're not getting irrigation water this season.
Didn't we talk about that meeting?
No.
A North Yuba Water District meeting?
No.
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 No, it's not.
And we still don't understand why it's not turned on, because it hasn't been talked about. And we expect more from our elected officials to explain this to us. Dry Creek is full.
I can't get into a conversation because it's public input. I can talk to you afterwards in here. Okay?
What's going on?
Quiet, please. Jenny.
Okay, I have another public record request, and this is from me personally, Jeanette Cavalier. I'd like all photographs with embedding of date and time of all locations in which the district is alleging violations of irrigation policy in 2017. And my third request is that I want all recorded easements with date and file number of recording of all easements with descriptions and legal descriptions in the Working House Canal. And then, my name is Jeanette Cavalier. 3 taxpayers did request an item to be put on the agenda or to have a special meeting. Why it has not been done? It was done according to the policy. Why have you not turned on our water? Why is there no accountability with this district about this? And do you realize you all are elected, maybe appointed officials?
Thank you. You in the back.
Yeah, I was the one who was, last meeting requested that you have a meeting or workshop or something about the availability of water. There's McCarty and Dobbins, stood right before you, talked to you last, we couldn't speak about it last week because it was not on the agenda. We was all here trying to decide, we don't know what's going on, you guys ain't telling us nothing, this is you call this transparency, I don't know. And then you got board members saying, well, we didn't make the decision, he did. You know, well, somebody's got to do something. I mean, you got to be accountable. You act like nobody requested anything. We stand here right in front of you and requested it. We're here again. You know, same old stuff. Are we going to go through this for 6 months or something? And then we'll talk about it next season when you don't give us water next season too, or what? We want to know the reason.
Yeah,
What's going on?
We want to know, we want an answer to that question.
That's what we're all here for.
What happened to the...
One at a time, please. That's your last warning. I'll ask you to leave next time you start blurting out. Thank you. Are you done, Dennis?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. State your name, please.
My name is Dr. Gretchen Floor. I live in Oregon House. 3 taxpayers requested that an item be added to the agenda last meeting. Why wasn't this request honored? Why have you not turned our water on? And why is there no accountability with this water district? I hope you all realize you're elected officials. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Donna.
My name is Donna Corson. I live in Dobbins. I was one of the 3 people asking for a special session to be put on the agenda. Why did you refuse to talk to us about this? Why hasn't our request been addressed? Why have you not turned on our water? Why is there no accountability about this? And we all know you're elected officials.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Neil McGrimmer. I live in Dobbins. And Terry Brown, I understand you're my representative for my ditch area. And I want to know why we're not being allowed to have a meeting with you all to explain why we're not getting our water and why haven't you turned it on? Can you tell us that? Why is there no accountability? We should be informed about this. Do you realize that you're an elected official and you need to represent us?
My name is Brian Dotsie. I wrote a letter to, I read my letter the last time. I sent a letter to my district director, Mr. Hawthorne. I asked him that I did not accept the reasons why the water was turned off. And I asked that and he kindly forwarded the letter to the director. I asked for a USPS letter requesting, as the people have said here, an official meeting stating why you're not turning on the water. I have not received anything. You are not acting in good faith. I stated, my wife and I stated in our letter It was a bona fide, which means in good faith letter, customer complaint. I have not received it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I want to,
Can I interject?
yes.
As you know, there was a meeting held at the Alcove, and where everybody was invited, or so I was informed. Then what we did is the district recapped that entire meeting, and we personally, this district I should say, mailed every irrigation customer the conversation and the information given at the Alcove as well. So they have been informed in person, they have been informed in writing, and just so you might recall, that's where we're at right now. It hasn't been done in the dark.
You were gonna say something?
Yeah.
This is just shameful, just shameful.
Do we still have time in public comment, or are we out of time now?
It's only obvious why there is no water. For one, we have no pipeline. One, there is no snow, because we need the runoff into Dry Creek to make it work. I am talking, please. Dry Creek right now, and I think you took the measurements off of it, does not supply enough to get it down to the end of 03. So, people that say it's full are wrong because they do not know what they're talking about. Okay? So, the only thing that I can say is, I think we need also to put that letter back out to all of our irrigation customers, because we have all the addresses, we know where everybody is, we know all the places, the address, everything, and if we have to hand deliver them in person, we need to do that, so then they know again that why they do not have irrigation water. There are some people out there that were in the drought before this board knows that same scenario. So I can't understand why those persons cannot get it either. So that's all I have to say about that.
Is that a consensus that you'd like me to resend the letter again? All right, I got 3.
That's fine by me.
Okay. Do you want me to look into
Point of order.
receipt requested?
Point of order.
That would be awfully expensive to do.
Yeah, that should be huge.
Well, you said hand deliver, I don't know how
Point of order.
much you want to do.
No, that'd be way expensive to do that.
I think maybe too that, I would suggest we make sure it gets into a couple local publications. There may be domestic people that are involved that don't know, and
We can republish that as well.
You put in the Kill Democrat, Territorial Dispatch. What is that other website up here? Yuba,
Evenet?
is it Yubanet?
I don't do
Somebody
any
took
of the
that, yeah.
blogs or social media or anything like that.
And send it back out.
My comment is that maybe it needs to be a 3-page letter with better explanations about what the problem is, because I don't think it's sufficient. I don't think that letter was sufficient to explain the problem. And I don't want to get technical. I don't want to get so technical that you fall asleep after the second paragraph. But I do think there's a compromise way here of explaining it so that it's clearer to a layperson, like myself, for example, and most of the customers that I serve in Dobbins Oregon House, that there's a better explanation that we could make. And I'm willing, just for myself, to say that I understand what folks are talking about, because it's very difficult to understand. It's a complicated problem. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing. Fortunately, you don't have to be a water engineer to understand it, but it does need to be explained in easier terms to understand. And I'm convinced that if we did that, that people would then understand the bigger picture and what the real issues are. It's also important, I'm going into the wrong time here, but it's also important for folks to know the plans that we have for this summer for upgrading the ditch, the irrigation ditch.
We published those too.
Right, and there's going to be newspaper articles about that. And so that's a part of the answer. That's a part of the answer to these folks, I think, is that what are we doing? Well, that's something we are doing.
Yeah, every time we do a publication or a public outreach like that, we go through the territorial and the appeal Democrat vote. Whether they choose whether they want to print it, but it gets to them.
Thank you.
And is everybody agreed I'll do an expanded explanation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Do you two guys want to work on a letter?
You know what I'll do is I'll work on it and then I can run it by all of you to see if you, because you'd be my litmus test. Read it, see if it speaks to you, makes it simple,
Good for you.
and feel free to redline it.
Yeah, and there might even be a couple of customers that I could sit down with.
Yeah, I'll just produce it in Word,
Sure.
I'll send it off to you, you
As a
can
draft.
track, change it, do whatever you want until we get it to where everybody's comfortable and says what needs to be said.
Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Jimmy.
Real quickly, time's running out. Dry Creek is not our only source of irrigation water. There's 3,700 acre-feet of water that we could have conveyed, and there's 15,500 acre-feet of water. The customers deserve the water. This district is supposed to serve its customers.
Just answer a question.
No, don't make comments. I'm speaking, please. You're embarrassing yourself. And Mr. Hawthorne, I'd like to address what your comment about the dollar figure. The very first year, this district received $7.5 million. Okay, that was the very first year. Every year we get,
In 2011.
in 2011.
Okay, so we're off topic. We were not talking about
No.
money coming in or anything.
No, I'm addressing him. I couldn't address
You're
him.
not, no, you're addressing the board, and you're gonna stay on the topic. If not, sit down.
Okay, what is the topic?
We're
The
talking
public
about
comment-
water.
That's, public comment can speak about anything they want.
Okay.
And just address the board.
Please, I'll address the board,
Okay.
but specifically for what Mr. Hawthorne said, there was $7.5 million in 2011. Every year, this district has gotten $709,000. Alone in 2014, it got $4.2 million. That already takes you over the top of what you said. And let's figure all the other millions for the last few years. And June this year, this district's gonna get over $2.some million, because I was at South Feather. I know what they're getting.
I'd like to get a report from you about those numbers.
Please, let's sit down and talk about it.
I don't want to sit down and talk about it. I want you to give me a piece of paper that's got the numbers on it, that you'll stand behind.
I'd be happy to. And I will stand also behind 2016, when you and everyone here disagreed with me on the amount of water that we could have kept our irrigation, because we are getting the water reports, and there was water to deliver.
Your math was wrong.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Okay, we're getting away from
Yeah, we're
public
getting,
comment.
exactly.
And just one more little comment about this thing, and that is that when we took over here, this board took over, December of 2016, there was $2,597,000 in the bank. So whatever your 30 million deal was, you had that on you before that. You spent the 27 million or whatever it was.
Doesn't matter. It
Before
wasn't-
we ever got here.
It never got, yeah.
So this is a
No
new board.
improvement.
We're
You
not
were
the
there
same
too.
board.
That's right.
That's right.
We're not the same
And that's what
board.
we had. We didn't have 30 million. Yes, ma'am.
So here's one of the parts that I don't understand about the water, is that when we have a drought year, a serious drought year. We had 9 inches of rain. This year we had 60 inches of rain. Neither year did we have a snowpack. I totally understood when we didn't get water. I didn't even have to ask. I knew we were not gonna get water with 9 inches of rain. It was a true drought. 60 inches of rain, at the very least, we should get a partial season. I don't get that at all. Even without a snowpack, 60 inches of rain is a lot of water, and as she says, it is stored in Little Grass Valley. We do own that water. It is belong to the people, and it is full. It's chock full. So at the very least, there should at least be a partial season. I don't understand that.
So that's, you'll have to
And South
address
Better's
that.
given up their room in the ditch.
You in the back.
Yeah, what I can't understand, you say you guys notified us. You notified us at a meeting of another organization to tell us we didn't have water. And then we get a thing in the mail 2 weeks before we're supposed to have water that says there's not gonna be an irrigation season. And you guys don't think that we should be fucking talked about? Excuse my language. I mean, do you think that's contacting us? It's not in the paper? You go into another organization at a meeting, and you don't even, you guys don't even notify us that you guys are gonna have the meeting there.
I know.
You know? So, how do you guys say that you notified us? You guys didn't mail us and tell us that you were gonna be at that meeting? He did, but I mean, you guys didn't.
Let's get back on track. It's public comment.
Back
Each
on-
speaker gets to speak.
You guys
We
are
don't
talking,
get
this
to
is what
keep
you're
going
talking
round
about.
and round.
How you gonna notify us?
Donna?
We can't have water. Part of the reason was that there's unhappy customers at the end of the ditch, and so nobody can be served. And I'm wondering what irrigation company doesn't have unhappy customers? And we can't be served because of that? Would those unhappy customers truly want the entire system shut down if they knew repairs were going to be made? I mean, it's at least a partial. That water flowing by is so upsetting to people. And we know that it's not mandated in the policy that there's fire prevention. It's just common sense that if you keep your land green, it's better. It works. It helps. And if there's water in the ditch, that helps too. It's common sense. No one's holding the district responsible for a policy. It's just common sense. That's why we want the water, because it belongs to us. Why you're not willing to use the 515, the 115.16 and the 115.18, we don't understand. The drought before, the water was down in Little Grass. It was very low. There wasn't water. There is water now. Little Grass is full. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none. Item I, need a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Comment? Roll call, please.
Oh, sorry. You caught me.
You don't want to talk?
Director,
Who seconded?
I didn't hear
Gary.
you.
Who seconded?
Gary. Gary. Yeah.
Roll call.
Yes,
What?
please.
Director Nielsen?
Aye.
President Ferguson?
Yes.
Vice President Hanser?
Yes.
Director Hawthorne?
Affirmative.
Director Brown?
Aye. Look at that, right, you
The water was conveyed last year, the water was conveyed last year to Dry Creek.
I have a question. It's not boring. It's not boring anymore. We're doing the best we can.
Did Vice President Ferguson, did you adjourn?
We,
Who made the motion to adjourn?
Eric did.
You will put something down on your little.
Yeah, well, I can
You want to talk to me?
I don't.
You know, she sits right there. She was on the board for what? Almost 30 years. She cannot figure it out.
You know,
The woman is stupid.
I don't.
Yeah.